Hi everyone, I am Paul from Celtic Interior Shine, and in today's video we have teamed up with Bobby from Detail Oriented to kind of go over a more controversial procedure / topic in the detailing world as far as washing vehicles. So we're not only going to show you that it is safe, but it is also efficient to use a flag-tipped wheel and body brush with Rinseless to wash your car. So sit back, relax, criticize, have fun, do whatever. But as always, like, comment, share, and subscribe.
My two-stage contact wash, I'm going to use a wheel and body brush on this.
That's blasphemy.
All right, guys. Well, we made it. This crazy snowstorm. Paul and his wife drove here from Pennsylvania, but we promised to get this video out, so that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, it was definitely that was a trek.
I bet, yeah.
3.5 hours turned into almost 4.5.
Okay, guys, so what I promised today is that we're going to do my kind of revised process on Rinseless wash, and I want to feature the detail keg. Why I think this is a game changer for any of you guys that really want to focus on rinseless washes. So just quick overview. I've got the detail keg. I've got a second one that I've got set up as a foaming keg. So that's going to be a little bit different today. We have Loki foaming rinseless wash in the foaming keg, and in the bucket is Detail Co. Nemesis. That's what we're going to use today. But I promised a little something extra that was going to shock you guys. So, wash media, rinseless sponge. Of course, you guys are used to it, but I'm going to use a flag-tipped wheel and body brush on this.
Oh my God, no way, Bobby.
So we'll go over it. All right, guys, so obviously it's pretty dirty. I mean, it's not filthy, but it definitely needs a wash. So this is what we're working with today.
It's got some environment on it.
Just a little bit. All right, so when we're dealing with a really dirty vehicle, obviously most of the time what we want to do is a pre-soak. Okay, we want to get some of the heavy dirt and grit off of this. So I told you guys that I've been trying Loki and didn't like it because it foams, but in this case, this is what we're going to do to incorporate this into my process. So first things first, I'm going to just pre-soak this side with Loki. And that's it.
What PSI do you have your foaming detail keg set up at?
So these are set up to where they will automatically release at 100 PSI, but a general good working pressure for these is 60 to 80. I have about 80 pounds of pressure in this one at the moment. And with the black foaming tip, you guys can see the foam that it produces. So that's where we're at. Guys, give us 2 or 3 minutes. What we're going to do is we're going to let this soak, and then I'll come back and show you how we continue. Okay guys, we've let the Loki dwell for a couple of minutes here. You guys see one of the benefits of Loki is it's starting to emulsify the dirt and kind of let it run off the edge. It's not real bad because this wasn't super dirty, but I'm sure you guys can see that this is starting to come off. So because I don't want to wash with the foam, that's just not my thing. What we're going to do here is I'm going to really show you how the detail keg can really help. So I'm going to rinse this down with Nemesis and get the heavy dirt and grit off of this. Let me just show. There's enough pressure in this that stuff rinses down really super well, but I can also get to the areas that are really dirty.
So this is essentially your second step. It's your foam rinse.
Foam rinse. I can use, there's plenty of pressure here to get into the cracks. All we're doing here is getting any really heavy dirt and grit off of this. Just like with the foam rinse foam method, we just don't want any heavy grit here. There's going to be plenty of lubrication during the contact to handle any traffic film.
There's no pressure washer, not a garden hose.
Nope. We're going to use less than 5 gallons of water for this entire thing. So. Okay guys, so now I've rinsed this off. Usually when I'm dealing with a vehicle that's super dirty, I like to do kind of a 2-stage contact with my Rinseless. Normally I will just grab the sponge and I would wipe this down once and then I would go over it a second time. Told you I was going to be a little controversial here. And there's some people that are probably going to hate me. But for my 2-stage contact wash, I'm going to use a wheel and body brush on this.
That's blasphemy. That's unheard.
I know a lot of you guys are. You're probably sitting here going, what the heck? You're going to scratch the heck out of the paint. I promise, by the end, I will prove to you that I'm not scratching the paint. So, here's all I'm going to do. I'm not putting a lot of pressure on this. I've just got it soaked in the Rinseless. One of the reasons I like the brushes is because I can get into all the little nooks and crannies where sometimes the sponge won't. So this is going to do a really good job of breaking up this heavy traffic film that's on here. Okay. Getting into all the little nooks and crannies. And just getting it clean. So I'm going to just do this section because I want to show Paul something. But you can see there's some dirt on there. But I promise you I haven't scratched anything on there. So now I'm going to grab my sponge. I'm going to wring it out to the point of just about dripping. The reason we want it like that, and we don't want it sopping wet, is when I go to do my contact wash, I actually want it to soak the dirt up off the panel. That's the reason we do it this way. If I have it soaking wet, gotta love this, all I'm doing is pushing stuff around on the panel, and it's not doing as good a job. So, grab this.
If your sponge is full of water, your sponge can't trap anything off the panel.
No, not at all.
So you still want slight lubricity from the Rinseless in the sponge, but you don't want a sopping, dripping sponge. You want room for stuff to go into the sponge.
All right, so that's it. So Paul, I know that you know that I'm being facetious, but I want you to try. Contact that panel and tell me how it feels. Tell me whether it feels like you're scratching the paint or it's causing issues. Go ahead and do your passenger door, since I already got that back.
No, and even on these pillars, it doesn't, the pillar garnish, it doesn't feel like anything.
Guys, I promise you, I know you guys are going to sit here and wonder whether I'm scratching this. I promise you, I'm not. That's why I'm showing this to you. You absolutely can use a flag-tipped wheel and body brush without causing any marring whatsoever.
Now, why has it got to be flag-tipped?
Because stiffer bristles obviously will scratch the paint. The flag tip, the way they're designed, they're kind of broken up, if you see. They're soft. They just aren't going to mar the paint. Unless you're just being crazy and scrubbing like you should.
This pressure should not be applied to a panel.
Yeah.
Ever.
But I promise you, especially with the way we're doing it, with a proper pre-soak, a proper rinse down, and doing it this way, you're not going to mar the paint. Okay, so now we've done stage one. We've gotten the heavy stuff off. It's just making it easier. You don't have to do this, guys, but this just is kind of what I do. So now, Paul, do the contact with that, and tell me, because you haven't used a sponge before, really, right? You usually use a microfiber.
It's all been mitts.
So tell me what you think when you do that.
Oh, that just glides right across. And like, I'm slightly paranoid, so I would only, whether I'm using a sponge or anything, I'd only do about half the panel and flip it anyways.
Yep.
So. No, that was slick. Pun intended.
All right, guys. I don't want this video any longer than it already probably is. So we're going to stop there and we're going to go ahead and finish up. So where we're at right now, we could easily just dry this. Rinseless is its own drying aid. There's plenty of lubrication there. We could just go to drying this. I just like to be extra cautious, and I also want to lay some protection down for Paul for his drive home. So we're going to do the belt and suspenders approach. So what I'm going to do here, grab a driving towel. This is Blue Collar 3. You guys have heard me talk about it a bunch. This is my preferred drying aid. This is my preferred basic protection for a basic detail. So all I'm going to do, if I can get this to go here.
Remember how to work a spray?
Yeah, got to remember how to work sprayer. Okay, so spray that on there, and we're just going to do a few sprays on the panel. And actually, Paul, I want you to comment on how the drying process is on this. So there you go. That side sprayed. Dry it off and tell me what you think.
Okay.
Now, Paul is starting on the window, and that's always a good practice. The drying towels, especially the twist loop drying towels, especially pick up better and do better if they're slightly damp. So not only did I pre-spray, and that helps, but he started with the window, which will just make this a lot easier, or it should. How does it feel, Paul?
It feels fine. It feels great. I mean, it's not a coated car, but it's sliding right across the panel. I don't feel it grabbing. I don't hear it grabbing.
Okay.
And again, I mean, it's not like we're not using common sense when we're doing this stuff.
No.
I'm not trying to dent the car in any manner, so all you're doing is drying.
All right, so that's it, guys. Kelsey, why don't you come in and show them what this looks like, how clean it is. Very simple, guys. Now, I can see a scratch that was here, and I can almost guarantee that that was there beforehand. Paul, can you confirm that that was there?
Like this whole area back here has been, we're not going to talk about.
Okay. But this does a really good job, guys, and I told you I would promise you here that I did not mar the panel. Okay? So Kelsey, come back in actually really close here. Guys, I want you to look really close. We're going to go in a section here. And do you see, I'm moving really close. We can see some marring over here, but in this section right here, you can see that there's no marring whatsoever. Okay guys, promised I would show you, because I know a lot of you guys are thinking I'm crazy about using this brush. I wouldn't be doing it unless I was 100%.
Bonkers.
I wouldn't be doing it unless I was 100% positive that it wouldn't cause any issues. So I'm going to prove it to you. We just showed you on the panel a section that has no marring whatsoever. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to spray just a little bit of Rinseless, just like was on the panel when I did it the first time. I'm going to take the brush and I'm going to go across this section. I'm going to go kind of a 2 to 8 o'clock direction so that if I cause some marring, you're 100% going to see it, okay? Now, I'm going to do something you shouldn't do. I told you before, we don't put any pressure when we're using this. Do you see that, Kelsey? Mm-hmm. 2 o'clock to 8 o'clock. I'm putting way too much pressure on this. I absolutely, Paul, don't kill me if I scratch your car.
It's okay, you'll just fix it.
I absolutely should not be doing this. And I'm continuing to do it. All right. I put way too much pressure on that. I was pushing like crazy. However, I'm going to dry this really fast. That same section that we were just at. There it is. All right. Kelsey, come on in. Here's that same section. Tell me, you guys. Paul, too. Are you seeing anything?
Let me get a good look.
And I was pushing like crazy.
No.
This is the exact same area. So, anyways, guys, that's it. That's my basic process. Again, I don't want this video any longer than it already is, but I want to show you me trying Loki, trying to incorporate it in my process. I think I found a way to do it, and showing you guys how easy and simple a rinseless wash is and how valuable this is. I don't want to forget about this. Less than 5 gallons of water to do an entire vehicle. You don't need a pressure washer. You don't need a hose. This will do everything you need it to do. So anyway, if you guys have any questions after watching this for either of us, I'm sure both of us will be willing to answer. Drop it down in the comments below and we'll do what we can to help. Have a great rest of your weekend, guys. Bye.
Peace.